we have a special event coming up this month. It's March, so it's time for our annual March Fatness tournament. What is March Fatness, you might say? March Fatness is your classic March bracket-style tournament. Instead of using sports ball teams, we're going to use food items. This year we have a really cool theme. Literally, it's ice cream. So 64 of the best ice cream items we could think of, pitting together bracket-style, only one can survive. If you want to get on the action, go ahead and go to fanmenpodcast.com. Please fill out a bracket and submit it. Highest score is going to get a cool box full of all kinds of pop culture goodies and ice cream stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. Maybe throw some Fan Men stickers and pins in there too. And if you want to just listen to the show in general or track your bracket, go ahead and give us a subscribe wherever you get your podcast, whether it's iTunes or SoundCloud or iHeartRadio, wherever. And follow us on Twitter at FMen37. So once again, fanmenpodcast.com, at FMen37, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Looking forward to seeing you for March Fatness.
March Fatness.
Hello, welcome to this episode of the Fan Man Podcast. I'm Batman.
Not nearly emo enough.
Yeah, true.
Batman played by DJ Gove,
Yeah.
Chris Davis.
Sean Ogerty.
How's it going?
It's good. This we haven't done this in a while. We have a remote DJ. DJ's coming to us from Hartford, Connecticut. What is it? Is it called 90s Con? What is it?
Yeah, it's the first ever 90s con. So basically, I'm just trying to emotionally get myself ready for turning 40 in a couple weeks by reliving all the fun years. It's kind of what it comes down to. So
The mental games you have to play with yourself.
Oh, yeah. I'm a mess.
Has nothing to do with a free press pass or anything. No.
I mean, I wanted to come anyway, but like financially just didn't line up correctly. But when I had a chance to come down for free, yeah, so
yeah, for free. I mean, it's going to cost you $370 in gasoline for the weekend.
That is true. Just because I shouldn't think in the
to get the Patrick Duffy keynote panel. I mean, how can you skip the step-by-step group?
Actually, no step-by-step. Actually, so Full House.
They couldn't pull names
World,
that big, huh?
Nickelodeon. Nah, dude, like TLC's here. The Backstreet Boys are here. Full House, Boy Meets World, Family Matters.
Oh no, I saw the lineup and felt bad for you from a distance.
No,
yeah.
it's pretty good considering for what it is.
So how much was the AJ McLean autograph?
I think he's like, I don't know. Like I can't even get close to his table. Like the line has been insane.
I mean, God bless Nick Carter still working,
Yeah, no, good for them. Actually, they're going on tour this summer. They're coming to Xfinity.
All right, this is episode 115, which is not about crapping on DJ's choice to be at 90s.
Correct.
He's there with our buddy.
Dude, I got another half hour. We're good. I can go for a while.
So we're before we did the announcements for March Fatness, and before we dip into the actual breakdowns, we figured we'd do a quick hit episode and talk about the new Batman movie,
The Batman.
So we all made it to a theater to see the new Batman movie.
All three of us have finally seen it now.
Yeah.
Only one of us posted his negative reaction before he saw it.
Before you saw it, you said something like, "Let the disappointment begin."
Yeah. So in theory,
as he went to the theater in costume.
Yeah.
Full costume. Yes. Full costume. I had the full rubber suit.
Bat hockey jersey.
Always with the bat hockey jersey. So the Batman came out. It's the Matt Reeves directed, Robert Pattinson as Batman Bruce Wayne. Completely different from what we thought we were going to get for the next standalone Batman movie, because we all expected Affleck a couple years ago and just didn't happen. So, and actually, I kind of took notes on this one too, because I wanted to.
He just muted himself.
Technology's hard.
Yeah, it is.
We'll get somebody on that side with an IT background that can.
It would help. It really would.
Hey, is Klepp around? Can you get him over here to work the equipment?
He is. Okay, so you guys want to go? Like I said, I'll start off by saying it's even though I've been shitting on it nonstop since the trailer came out, it wasn't the worst Batman movie by far.
So that's your top. That's your elevator pitch, one sentence reaction there. Not the worst Batman movie by far. Chris, what's your similar length take on the Batman?
There's potholes that I fell into, but overall, it went in a direction that I wanted them to take the character.
Mm-hmm. All right. For me, this is one of those things that may be slightly biased by the experience of actually sitting in a great spot in a big empty theater and having, the ability to just soak it in.
Just enjoy yourself.
But
literally.
I loved it. It was fantastic. It hit for me. There was literally one moment, almost 3 hours in, that was the first time that I got snagged. I'm like, wait, what? I'm not a fan of that. And even that just highlighted for me. I never looked at my watch for 3 fucking hours after half an hour of trailers and stuff, and I loved it. Loved everything about it.
I wish I could say that.
Good.
I did.
Yeah.
Once I got over 2 hours, I did start. I mean, I came out of there. As much as I enjoyed it, you could have trimmed at least a half hour off that thing.
Always true. Always true. But that was a measure for me of my enjoyment. Was that I never had trouble. Like, I was on the edge of my seat a lot of it. Now, I saw, I might have watched the trailer early on, but I avoided all, like, I didn't know anything about what was coming. I didn't know what it was focused on. I didn't read reviews. So I went in completely cold.
Okay. So I kind of broke my parts down into the good and the not so good.
Mm-hmm.
Would you guys want to talk about things that worked or things that didn't work first?
Well, first, let's say we're gonna probably talk spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, please go see it before listening to this. Yeah.
Yeah, and then come back.
Yeah. But let's go ahead and talk about what didn't work first, since I think that's the most interesting crossovers between us.
Okay, sure. So I'll preface it by saying, like, obviously, like, I've read a lot of Batman books in my life. I've read all the Batman books. I think, I'm not even the biggest Batman fan in this group. It's probably you, Sean.
Maybe.
But it just, yeah. So the biggest thing right off the bat is that the whole setting of Gotham being more like Manhattan as opposed to Chicago really threw me off visually. I know it's kind of like slim. It just seemed like I don't remember any books where Gotham had a Times Square, basically. So just stylistically, it took me out of things a little bit.
Times Square had cobblestone streets, though.
Yeah, it was just weird. It was just like, and they're like basically in Madison Square Garden at one point in time. Yep. That's all. I'm used to it being more Chicago-y. So that was kind of like weird. I think while Robert Pattinson is the worst Bruce Wayne to ever be put on film. And that was a big thing for me because Bruce Wayne is half the equation. So that bugged me. It was horrible. He was a horrible Bruce Wayne, I think. As far as the suit, I like some stuff they do with the suit. I like the high collar on the cape. That was kind of cool. I didn't like the Rob Liefeld pouch system he was wearing. He looked a little too bulky for me. Like, they couldn't make their mind up if they were going Arkham or something else. And I think that kind of led to an overall arc with the movies. I thought it had kind of like an identity crisis. It started off making you, like, the first 30 seconds, like, oh, are they doing the last Halloween? And then they didn't.
Yeah.
And then they tried to out Nolan, which I think was a big mistake. So it went from a Nolan, like, gritty movie to like an investigative thing and they tried to do the detective thing, and the detective thing, I don't think they didn't go far enough, and they tried to be just overly brutal for no reason, and it just jumped around too much for me. So it didn't know what it wanted to be. It wanted to be Detective Batman. It wanted to be Dark Knight, and I don't know. That just kind of bugged me. And then I know, like, we talked about what you wanted out of a Batman movie, and you guys both said you wanted, like, detective stuff. But for me, the whole detective thing, and this is like the big spoiler, is like they tried to make it seem like they were going down that road, and basically he just answered 3 popsicle stick riddles and then got made to look like a fool and, like, completely missed the bigger picture. So I don't think they went far enough down that road or made it hard enough. Like, he answered like 3 easy questions.
I would agree with that.
And then it's like, oh, by the way, dipshit, he missed the whole thing. And then basically they do Dark Knight. They just did Dark Knight again, and that was kind of like,
yeah,
I don't know. And I hated the Riddler.
I
Oh, see, I really like the
yeah.
Riddler.
Yeah.
Really? It wasn't the Riddler
like
to
the
me.
take on it.
So before you talk about what you like, let's keep negging. There's DJ's broad neg. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because
Sure.
to me it wasn't Riddler. And I didn't want like Frank Gorshin jumping around talking about Commodore Schmidlap or nothing, but it's like it seemed like, I mean, number one, they don't call him Edward Nygma at all in the course of the movie.
Yeah, it was Edward Ashton or something.
Yeah, and then it was just way too jigsaw. That's the other thing too, is like it said like they do like part like almost like Saw movie or like torture porn movie and then part detective. And it was all over the place as far as the tone and everything. That's all.
Okay.
It was 7 combined with a Batman movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also true.
It was very much that.
Yeah.
That's
the things I didn't like.
How about you, Chris?
There were only a handful. I actually didn't. I was surprised at the fact that I didn't hate Pattinson as Batman. I kind of saw the emo thing they were going for there. And now I will shit on the fact that, he sits bedside by Alfred. And the first thing he does when he comes out of the coma is shit on him for lying to him. That was kind of bullshit. Like, show a little compassion for the guy who raised you, you fuck. But
yeah.
The tone shift, I like the detective thing. I will agree with DJ. The riddles were way too easy. Although, having read some of the stories, that happens to Batman more often than not. That there's that big reveal at the end and then he has to go save the day. That shift bugged me. And this has been talked about other places where you have a detective story for 2 hours and then it's, oh wait, this is supposed to be a superhero story. So now you got to go have the big fight scene and we need the giant set piece and save the day and all of that. That kind of stuff bugged me. I've never really viewed Batman as a symbol of hope.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't really need that piece at the end. The whole part in the beginning, describing the bat symbol and the fear, that's right from the books. I mean, that worked for me. But yeah, there were little things that I bumped into. I'm still trying to figure out exactly how Wayne Tower became like a 17th century British mansion with all the ornate woodwork and staircases and that
was funky.
So they moved to the tower after the mansion was donated to the orphanage.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
It sounded like
I bumped into that a little bit too. Yeah. Because they kind of wanted it to be the mansion from like 66 or something, and but that struck me as a little odd.
One more thing, Chris, you brought one more thing that bugged me. And so they go into the backstory about like the Waynes and like Bruce Wayne's mom's, whose name escapes me for some reason.
Arkham.
Her family name and all that stuff. And to me, that seems like you blew the chance at doing any kind of Court of Owls setup.
I don't think they necessarily did.
Because the whole part of the Court of Owls is like the secret society and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, you could totally
Which
link
ties right back into the two.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can totally do that. I went the other way there. I actually kind of like the fact that they fucked with the backstory a little bit.
Yeah.
Because if I saw the damn pearls hit the ground one more time.
Oh, no.
It's like, stop.
I
really...
do give him credit for skipping the origin, but.
All right. So for me, my negatives, one, it's interesting to hear you guys lay some of those criticisms out, because I didn't feel any of that, kind of the opposite. But for me, the first time that I really got pulled out was at the end in the garden with the flood and the fight in the catwalks and stuff like that. The moment after things kind of stopped and paused and Catwoman's like, it's over, it's okay, after he's basically been knocked out. When he, rappels down and then cuts himself and drops into the water and lights a torch and leads the random people, including the mayor and the little boy, out of the scaffolding and through the water. That was the first time I'm like, wait, what's he doing? Why is he dropping into the water?
Yeah.
Why is he doing this? Those people actually didn't seem to need to be rescued to me. Maybe the water level's rising, but if that's the case,
no. He's
really
trying to save them because the transformer was going to fall. He was worried about the transformer falling and electrocuting the people.
Yeah, and they made a reference to that, but it really wasn't right. I never actually felt that endangerment. It felt like a random choice. He's like, okay, I'm done up here. Oh, look, there's some people in some water. You know, they kind of had it there, but that was the first time where I'm like, literally, that's 2.5 hours into the movie when I'm the first time. But that's when
you're beyond your detective backstory there too.
Yeah.
Okay, now we got to land this as a superhero movie. Yeah. So I need that big set piece where it's dropping and
but
some of it was Reeves just stroking his own ego because the entire scene was lit by the flare and it's him trying to be art house.
But I like that. I mean, all the other stuff you guys said, for me, I'm not looking at it trying to go, oh, what type of movie you are. I'm watching the movie that's there. I'm feeling drawn through the story and the characters. You know, the detective stuff, the action stuff, whatever. That didn't feel like choppy to me. It felt like the period of time and the story that was going on. And yeah, there were elements of other stuff, but I loved every bit of it. I was pretty taken aback by not hating Pattinson in the costume as Batman, nor as Bruce Wayne. I think the way they anchored it in kind of the year 2 time frame, which we haven't seen a lot of, both met with his age as an actor and met with, okay, we're not going to redo the origin story, but we're still going to anchor in, it's present all around the edges, right? As he experiences Mitchell's kids experience 20 years, to the week of all this stuff. But kind of the year 2 of his, experiment, right? You see his notebook, anchoring it there, and the conflict with Alfred because he finds out, like, this felt like an origin story of an actual middle of Batman's life series of stories. Like, I'm totally in now. I didn't feel like they overdid with too many, we got a little Penguin, we got a little, we got Riddler. Like, it felt like somebody did some of the Batman 66 stuff, but completely gritty and earnest without being campy, yet still being like the riddles and all that stuff. It was the campy elements, but while taking it completely seriously. And I loved it.
I'll give you one other thing that kind of bugged me too. So they towards the end of the movie, Riddler's at Arkham Asylum and they basically shoehorn Joker into it. So the whole fact that Joker exists in this universe and presumably he's already gone up against Batman and been caught, yet anything the Riddler would have done surprised anybody and like put the CD on edge kind of bugs me too.
Maybe. I mean, you're making assumptions about what you saw.
But the Riddler would never out Joker's Joker. You know what I mean?
I don't.
Right now, Joker's just a convict in Arkham. Right. You don't know if he's done anything.
Yeah. He looks almost like Arkham Joker. He had this giant chin and everything. Like it looked almost like mutant Joker.
It was tough.
I mean,
to
if that
for
bugged
half
you,
the
then
time,
the fact
I
that
thought
Venom was there must have bugged the shit out of you.
What?
Because Bane exists in this world.
Oh yeah,
you picked up on. I mean, it's he used Venom serum to get his ass back up after getting shot in the head.
So. Oh yeah.
And he has a compartment in his suit, so this is something planned for in case he needs. You know?
Yep. That's a good point. So that bit at the end there, yes, it seems likely that they're playing with Joker. But as I was looking at it, I wasn't immediately sure that I wasn't seeing a Two-Face that had already been Two-Faced, though it seemed like it was a Joker. But you read an awful lot into that, DJ, out of your expectations. I saw just a crazy
Joker too.
Convict.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
As soon as the laughing started, it's Joker.
But it's not necessarily, like you said, Chris, it's not necessarily post-Joker Joker. It may be pre-Joker Joker, right?
Oh yeah, your order of villains could be just flipped here.
Colin Farrell was amazing doing
his own TV show.
Yeah, doing De Niro as Penguin, it was awesome.
He sounds like half of the New Yorkers I work with.
Yeah. So
come on. I'm right here.
The supporting cast was stellar. Colin Farrell as Penguin, Turturro as Carmine Falcone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um,
I loved that. I did not know Turturro was in it.
Mhm.
So that was sweet.
Catwoman, even worked out and all that stuff. And
I thought she was awesome.
She was
Alfred,
amazing.
yeah, the supporting cast was great.
Circus
The
should have
car
got
was
more
great.
screen time.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
my gut is he will, right? This was a great
Mhm.
setup. They didn't overdo.
But this is your Alfred that taught Bruce to fight.
Yes.
He actually alludes to the fact that
I
this
couldn't
is
be a
your
father,
old special
but I could
forces.
teach you to fight. Yes.
Mhm.
And the fact
Bruce
that he
didn't have
was
to
working
go
the
wandering the
puzzles,
countryside.
Right?
Yeah.
The fact that he was idly working the ciphers, that sets up a great.
Right, from
you
his
know.
Secret Service background, the whole
Yeah.
thing. This isn't your feeble.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Alfred stuff worked. The supporting cast worked. Like Catwoman kind of surprised me. I had never really seen her do anything before. So,
She looked the part. She had the body mannerisms.
She also had
yeah, I mean,
backstory. She had that wasn't
Mhm.
thrust onto you, but she had motivations. That was awesome.
yeah,
The whole,
She was playing
Falcone's
Long
her
Con as
father.
well. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get the whole
Yeah.
Thomas Wayne helping Falcone, which ties back into you can go so many different
Yep.
ways.
Yeah.
You pulled that right from the books.
Yep.
yeah.
And I love.
So how did you guys feel about the fact that this is your first Batman that is actually present day?
I love
the Waynes died in 2001.
Yeah. Something.
Yeah,
Like
the
That was the
dates
campaign
on all
footage?
the election stuff bugged me.
Well, you're in an elevator, so we're gonna
That
lose
bugged
him. Yep.
It just don't have the DC time frame, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, that kind of bugs me. It's so cold outside. But yes, I mean the dates did kind of bug me a little bit, just a bit.
DJ's wandering the streets of Hartford.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yes,
He's
Yeah.
frantically looking for the third Fuji, trying to figure out what the
Yeah.
hell happened.
I'm looking for some.
None.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, the dates bug me is what I was trying to say. Sorry.
Yeah. None of that snagged me even the slightest.
Seems like nothing bugged you.
Well,
Seems
I
like
mean,
nothing bugged you.
when I'm actually able to sit and watch a movie, all of my work, all of my stress is actually just getting me to that point, right? That's one of the reasons the theater is a better place for something like this, because I'm not, I can't be distracted by anything. I'm sitting there, it's coming at me. And with something like this, I wanted to be, I just wanted to let it hit me. And so
Right.
I dump the outside world. I don't have expectations. I know
Yeah,
I'm
no.
watching a movie that I want to watch, and I take it right. The reason that the torch scene at the end, caught me so much is because up until that moment, I'm just taking it in and I'm going along for the ride. And I never
Mhm.
felt like that was the first moment where there was like a bump that threw me out of my
That's
seat.
when it got me. It was the
Yeah.
tonal shift from detective story to it.
Well, no.
That kind of.
But it wasn't a tonal
gave
shift
me
necessarily for me. It was that single moment where I was like, wait, why is he doing what he just did? And I know the ingredients were there for the Transformer and stuff, but I think that was just not. Everything else felt like it flowed from the character and characters I was seeing and what they were dealing with. Right? It didn't bug me that he didn't pick up on the big picture. He's early in his career. He's still learning. He's got a lot to learn. They anchored so much of that and earned it.
Yeah. See, it bugged me that you went right to that quote unquote superhero scene where he's taking on the 50 guys up top and the big set pieces and everything. Because
Yeah.
you kind of anchored him as the street level vigilante, living in the shadows, controlling the city by fear as much as anything else.
Yeah.
Okay. One other thing before we jump off on this. One other thing that bugged me is the idea of Batman knocking on a door. And then 2 days later, do you know who I am? And the two twins close the door and then open it back up as he's just standing there trying to get into the club. And then 2 days later, as Bruce Wayne,
Yeah.
do you know who I am? It's
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, motherfucker, I know exactly who you are. We saw this act 2 nights ago.
Yeah, but that's a fundamental conceit of all this shit. In a
Batman
world where you've
would've-
got facial
Batman would have
recognition.
dropped in by the friggin' skylight and been in the Penguin's office before.
Yeah.
And Penguin's just having a sit down with Batman. Hey, come on in. Let's chat. I'm going to deal drugs in front of you, man who's terrorizing our city.
I didn't get snagged. I loved it.
Now, and I liked it as the overall. I'm like, that's like, all right, that's a bit of a reach.
Nah.
It didn't. The whole location of it didn't really bug. I always pictured Gotham as New York. I pictured Gotham always as New York pre-cleaning up Times Square.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I thought what I saw was Gotham. Obviously, obvious Manhattan references in alignment with Times Square and the Square Garden and all that stuff. But also you had elements of Chicago with the L trains were much closer to Chicago style in places like it.
Oh, certainly.
Yeah, and they had.
The club is basically under elevated tracks,
right?
Parking the car.
Yeah. So
there's a Chicago field somewhere.
I thought they did the normal Gotham thing of mixing a bunch of different urban things, but clearly it's always been anchored in a Manhattan, reference.
And like
Nolan did a good job of Chicago-fying. Yeah, but the cobblestone stuff was awesome.
It was very much. You could see that it was filmed overseas.
Yeah,
that was clearly London when you're looking at it, and they're just CGing. Anything Gotham related in the background or Wayne Tower but
it didn't feel CG. They've definitely gotten to the point where the merges are so clean these days that it's pretty easy to just accept what you're seeing.
Well, and wasn't it Court of Owls? They gave you one shot of Wayne Tower when the trains are kind of terminating into Wayne Tower as you're driving towards it, which is pulled right from the pages of Court of Owls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Snyder gets a thank you at the end too.
Oh, I didn't see that. Nice.
Yeah, he's one of the listed.
What would you guys give it for? Give me a score out of 10. Like what you had to score it.
For me, it was honestly, it was like an 8.5 or a 9.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd go 7.5, 8. I mean, there was enough that I bumped into that I can't give it higher, but I'm hopeful for what's coming next. I want this completely separate and apart from the DCU.
Yeah.
Reeves needs to just drive his own lane, and none of this should touch all the shiny happy they have going on elsewhere. I don't want to see the Flash drop into this world or as he's doing Flashpoint or anything. This is you can live in a world where Batman is the only hero here and never have to touch any of those other characters.
Yeah, make it like an Elseworld almost.
I mean, you're also living in a world where Robin could have already existed. Which is kind of weird because Batman's so young in this one.
Yeah.
But you're already talking about Bloodhaven. So
no, but that's a place. That's outside,
Yeah.
They're setting up a world, but you're right that it doesn't have to, like, it can be just what it is.
Yeah.
Wait until they introduce Dick Grayson in Bloodhaven without being Robin, and he's going to lose his mind. DJ's head's going to explode.
As long as he's straight Nightwing or something, I'm okay with that. But
I
as long as Kristen Stewart doesn't play Nightwing.
Yeah,
No.
I saw somebody say something.
He's going to be betting Hawk,
which is somebody was like, "Oh, I'd love for in the next one for them to introduce Dick Grayson and not have him become Robin, just have him be part of
in the world
Bruce's story of getting to know Dick, right? And
maybe,
and then that sets up."
You're not selling it to DJ.
I don't care about DJ's expectations are impossible to meet.
No, as long as it's Nightwing and
result in shitty movies.
The Nightwing character on path. Like they could do if they did like he meets Dick Grayson and it's like Dick Grayson from like the Grayson story arc that comes off and becomes Nightwing. I'm cool with that. Just you can skip the Robin part. I'd be okay with it as long as it's like it's actually Dick Grayson.
And see, these characters and stories are ingredients to be pulled into a realized, well-written world, and he can do whatever the fuck he wants. I'm not going to say it should be this or that. I'm going to take what is, and what was given is the best Batman movie that as a whole, as somebody who is a fan of Batman, I loved this. I actually think had Affleck been in it, I saw some stuff about the Affleck script originally, which apparently was, was a totally different thing. And I'm glad because this one actually fit the age and style of Pattinson in a way that I'm totally in to see what comes, and I don't give a shit what it is as long as they're doing.
You couldn't have told this story with the Affleck Batman.
You could.
He was already beyond.
Oh yeah.
It would have
beyond
been.
that.
Yeah.
You could have done a different Riddler
Yeah.
story, keep some of the elements, but you couldn't have set it in this spot. It's
And
Yeah.
Affleck's age would have made this not work, but that also would have like
You
seeing
could use the
a
environment.
young
though.
detective.
The setting could have worked. The setting could have worked. Just like the
Just
people
not
would have been
the-
changed. But,
question. Did you get any Gotham by Gaslight vibes from the way that costume was set up?
Yeah.
The high
The high collar.
cape and-
The high collar.
Yeah.
It to me was more Arkham Asylum vibes though.
Mm.
I did like you definitely got a sense in both Batman and the Riddler of more practical costume origins. Like clearly Batman's costume wasn't just hacked together, but like in the Batman Begins and Dark Knight, it seemed rooted in tactical gear, maybe going through some revs and added tech. I love the video contacts and the use of them with Catwoman.
Those were cool.
That was sweet. Totally impossible,
funny.
but sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll go. I mean, I think we're all kind of like we're different levels because like I'm like 6.5, 7.
Mhm.
Chris is like one step above me, and you're like one step above him. So it's better than Dark Knight friggin' Rises, or it's better than anything from the 90s, pretty much.
Yep.
So I'll be going to top 3 this week. So top 3. So Batman. So it's sacrilege to shit on the Nolan movies. You can't do it without people getting mad. So let's go top 3 worst things about the 90s Batman movies.
Okay.
We could shit on Nolan if you wanted. I mean, I got a whole barrel of shit there too.
Yeah, we'll go.
I like the middle
we'll
one.
do the 90s movies. We'll do
All
the
right.
90s movies. So I gotta.
So
Let's go. Just
I don't
quick
have
hits.
any-
I got a couple minutes until the music really kicks in. Yeah, I can't hear you guys. So
all right. So I don't have any honorable mentions. Do you guys have honorable mentions?
no,
Nah.
none.
All right. So I'm sure I could think of more, but thankfully the 90s movies are ones I have not revisited in a long time. So this is just
There
what
you go.
popped to mind. So my number 3, I remember not really loving in Batman Forever, Alicia Silverstone's Batgirl. I actually love Alicia Silverstone. I love Batgirl. That just felt arbitrary and not a good match. It felt.
I'll tag up on yours, man, because that was mine. I had Alicia Silverstone / stunt casting.
Yeah. Yep.
This was the height of the period where you didn't matter who would fit the character best. It was what name was popular at the time, which is how you ended up with Clooney and Chris O'Donnell and Alicia Silverstone.
Yep.
Hey, guess what? Let's get Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey. And it's like, fuck off. There's so many better actors you could have gotten for those parts.
Yep.
So that's my number 3 as well, Sean.
All right. What's yours, Steve?
Also, my number 3 is the sidekicks, and Silverstone is Batgirl and Chris O'Donnell is Robin. Robin wasn't when Robin's parents died. He wasn't 37 years old, so that kind of just took me out of it a little bit. And everyone knows how much I love the Robin character and the Dick Grayson character. Just like it didn't fit for me.
Yeah. No, that's
number 2, Sean.
Number 2. So number 2 is kind of a layup, and it's not fair, but Bane. Bane is an abomination of picking to use him and using him in such a minor way
as a henchman.
Come on, with no that was just a waste, and it wasn't particularly well done.
Mine's a layup as well. I mean, this is a joke, but it's kind of an overarching thing. But we'll focus on the bat nipples and just the costumes and the over the top camp, and not camp in the 66 way.
Yeah.
They just gave somebody way too much budget for production design here and let them go off the deep end with some of this shit.
Yep.
So I'll kind of tag up on Chris's number 2. Mine is Joel Schumacher's stylistic approach, whether it's the bat nipples or the giant Batmobile down an ice slide or the neon colors of the street gangs with the fucking batons
oh my
and
God,
the glow
whole
sticks
Mr.
and shit.
Freeze fight. Yeah. Are you shitting me?
Trash. Complete trash. All of it. Everything sucks.
I don't disagree with that, though. The part of me loved aspects of it because I do like those colors and that art design. Not in my Batman, but it did harken back to the 66. It would have been. It's just it didn't belong in a Batman movie. Like
100%.
All right, and so my number 1, Chris touched on it lightly. Flicked on it a little bit. It's the nipples in the costume.
Nipples,
it's nipples.
Is your number 1 nipples?
Number 1 is nipples. Yeah. Just as you kind of said it. It's when you go into production design and and there's this feeling like you must make your mark and everything has to all fit together and everything. I love that as general, but when it's done to excess rather than done to establish kind of a meaningful, like there's just no freaking reason that there would be nipples on any kind of costume, much less one that's actually meant to be both armor and disguise. And
No. Exactly. It's just probably why I didn't bump into the pouches like DJ did.
Oh yeah.
Like, he's got to carry his shit somewhere. So I get that. You know, I understood that. So, all right. So my number one, and it goes back to some of these choices and shit like that, it's the back credit card. I mean, come on. Really?
There you go.
Like, in what world is he flashing the black card in costume to have any conversation with any other character?
No.
Just
It also
Yeah.
it kills his disguise. Like that's a trackable financial instrument.
See, I didn't go there, but okay.
Yeah. And my number one is going to be all the villains: Two-Face, Bane, and Poison Ivy. I can't stand Uma Thurman. Bane's probably my favorite Batman villain. They ruined him, and Two-Face was an abomination. So all the bad guys suck.
It was a paycheck. They just brought all of those guys and have places to put these names.
Yep.
It made no sense.
It sucks. So
All right.
So it looks like General Mission just opened up. It's going to get loud in here. So
well,
I'll hop off if you guys
wrap
want to keep going, but I'll just say, don't forget to check out fanmanpodcast.com, fill out your March Fatness brackets. 17th at noon is when we cut those off. March St. Patty's Day.
Mm-hmm.
And follow on Twitter at FMan37 and subscribe and review wherever you get your podcasts. I'm going to try to do a video. I've been doing some B-roll stuff while I'm here. It's the whole point of me coming. I want to try to get some kind of like content for the YouTube channel. We'll see if I can pull it off. I'm not a very good videographer, but we'll try.
All right, man.
Do me a favor. Give Joey Lawrence a hug for me, okay?
I talked to him yesterday, so.
I had no doubt.
Yeah.
All right, later, DJ.
Hey guys, thank you
Later,
for squeezing
DJ.
me in, gentlemen. I appreciate it.
We'll.
No worries.
It's always tough to squeeze you in anywhere, man.
Yeah, fair enough.
If you butter him up enough, it's
Yeah.
Lots of butter.
All right,
there you go.
we'll wrap up after. All right, talk to you later, DJ.
See ya.
I don't think I'm not actually I am surprised that I'm at the top of this spread all by myself in terms of the feelings on it.
It's overall, I really enjoyed the movie. I've seen it twice, and I paid to go see it again.
Yeah,
because I enjoyed it so much. There were little things. And I'd like to think that they didn't nudge Reeves one way or another.
Yeah.
Although there is enough of a shift there with your giant. I mean, like you said, the cutting with the wire and dropping.
Yeah.
That's a shot. Like, we need a big action piece. We need that image that we can show. And it looked beautiful in IMAX.
Sure.
I saw it. I mean, it was gorgeous. You didn't need it.
Yeah.
But that whole selfless Batman sacrificing himself, he just took a shotgun blast to the chest. You didn't need to prove that again.
Yep.
You know?
Well, he
The
wasn't
little
really
paws of the
sacrificing
mayor.
himself. Like he clearly, his intention was to drop in the water as a quick way to get down to those people. But that wasn't clear until after it happened. And it just didn't, like.
They give you the pause before he pops back up out of the water.
Yeah. Plus, it was just like he's sitting there with Gordon and Catwoman having just, fought off those guys who were apparently the last ones, got through this. She's, helped revive him. He's come to, and rather than having, like, it's not like he said those people need help or whatever. He just gives this mysterious look and does it, and that, like, it just
and he's gone.
Yeah, it didn't.
It played like a video game. Actually, you see the danger off to the side, and you cut back to having to go do something.
Yeah,
and the mayor giving her second of pause. She has a gut shot.
Yeah,
and she's about to drown.
She doesn't.
And maybe not.
Yeah,
but again, they're cowering under the stage when, as soon as he puts out his hand, they can all climb out.
Right. Oh yeah.
Like, there was little things like that kind of got me. I'm like, okay, I like the Riddler having his own message boards and his own group of crazies.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That he's mobilizing that whole
that felt rooted in current reality. Yeah.
And you know what? The way they played it got a 13-year-old kid that's already gone onto the website to download the thing and broken the cipher.
Oh yeah.
Because she was curious.
Oh yeah.
You know, I like how he took that. And the Dark Riddler, I mean, that's right out of Zero Year. That's,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's multiple incarnations of the Riddler being just that sinister and dark. He was never meant to be campy.
But you also
Calendar Man's campy.
Yeah. I did like the Riddler really believing that Batman was part of like that whole thing. Oh, and so is this correct that so did the Riddler understand that Batman was Bruce Wayne, but then right, that's what it looked like at the end.
No.
It was like, holy cow, he didn't, because it seemed like he understood.
They played it.
Yeah.
They played it.
I like that.
But
yeah.
No, they got it close, and it looked like you have Bruce ready to say something.
Yeah.
He's doing the half turn right before.
Bruce Wayne. Yeah.
I got very much a Zodiac vibe too when he's sitting in the diner.
Oh yeah. Yes.
That very much that feel from that scene. Like,
and I'm a sucker for a Nighthawk's diner. Anytime you get that kind of angled diner with the neon at night and the folks sitting at a counter, I love that shot. And yeah.
No, that was perfect. Nobody else there. He's just sitting there playing with his cappuccino, you know. And I thought the incarnation, especially the unmasked Riddler, looked like something we've seen in the comics.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that accountant with the bad haircut and the big glasses, that's Enigma.
Yep.
You know? I didn't bump into the naming thing much at all. I mean, Enigma was always a nice little trope in the comics, but you can call him whatever the hell you want. He was the Riddler.
Yeah. I think it is hard to be open to let the world be built for you when it's being built with things you know, and so you expect them to go together a certain way. Like Thomas Wayne, he did something, he cut a deal, he resulted in somebody's death. I was like, wow, this is weird. But then, before we got to Alfred
pulls it all back.
Yeah. But before we got there, I was already like, actually, I bet this is just about protecting his wife, because all indications are that as a wife and mother, there's no direct evidence, but you get the idea that he didn't have a crazy mom or anything. So it must have been him protecting his wife's past and not about anything else. And I was certain from Tortoro or from Falcone's, depiction of that, it's not like Thomas Wayne said, take this guy out, right? That was artistic license.
It would have been so out of character.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
And having that moment at the bedside that you pointed out where Alfred's immediately coming to Bruce attacking him, you lied to me, what have you, that actually felt true to, he's no longer a teenager, but he's still kind of this damaged, right? His maturity, his lack of father, that felt right? He's still a damaged guy who's competently acting out his damage in this, every, vengeance. I'm avenging by forcing against badness. But that moment of you lied and Alfred going through what he did, hey, you needed a dad. He was a great man. I couldn't do that. I could only teach you to fight. In that little scene, they wrapped so many wonderful things without exposition, without origin story, right?
Yeah, you never need any of that. Yeah.
You never said, my time in the SAS set me up to train you like a trained killer. But,
No, but if you know the cat, it played well.
Yeah.
That worked for me. The fact that we didn't need to go into some Gordon and Batman backstory.
No.
They've already been working together.
They didn't make him Commissioner Gordon either. Gordon, right?
No.
In fact, he was 2 levels down by the time they got to the end part, right? Yeah.
The symbol's not, the bat signal's not sitting on police headquarters.
Yes. And
That worked for me too.
It's also not just Commissioner Gordon calling Batman. It is, it's a symbol of fear that's actively used. I loved when they both showed up and like, wait, I thought you called me. No, I thought you called me. Right. And it was Catwoman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Selena that does the whole thing.
Yep. No, I thought
it worked.
You know, the true test of this success. One, I think the timing of this release in terms of the COVID and the pandemic pause, or, you know, at least things kind of lightening up a bit. People wanted to go see this, you know, for more than just because it was a Batman movie. Like literally this week, I think, you know, I haven't seen the numbers, but, you know, but it's hundreds of millions at this point. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so really. I'm hopeful, but the real test will be, what is the second movie? You know, it's the Empire Strikes Back, you know, Batman Returns, right? What are we going to get? Are you going to get follow through and consistency, or are you going to get Warner Brothers going, oh, finally, we've got something, you know, and we need to pull it into everything else, and we need to screw with it to turn it into Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I hope it's just follow through.
I think where you brought somebody like a Reeves in, and he drives down a certain path. I mean, this is Cloverfield. You know, he's done the Apes movies, and he's got his own style and tone. I think if they try to do that, you're going to see it fall apart. You already saw the Gotham PD story. The TV show got canceled.
Yeah.
Over creative differences.
Yeah.
He's sticking around to do Arkham, but that one's not going to work for whatever reason. So far, 315 million worldwide.
Yeah.
That takes it through. I mean, it's doing gangbusters. That's not a lot of international money.
No.
Just yet.
No.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No. So we'll see. But we will be, like DJ said, we're gonna be ramping up March Fatness. Should be today. We're recording on Sunday the 13th, the first day of daylight savings time. Always great to lose an hour. But
if DJ makes it back from his Sabrina the Teenage Witch panel, then you know.
Yeah,
maybe he can make some time for us.
Yeah, for us to eat some ice cream and do the first round of March Fatness. Brackets are due by noon on March 17th. I'm sure we'll send out some, you know, reminders on Twitter and Facebook and such. But please reach out if you have any questions on how to get a bracket, how to fill it out, or what have you. We definitely look forward to your participation as we get fatter.
Excellent. Reminder, if you're trying to play to win prizes, guess what these three fat guys would like? Not so much what your choice would be in the bracket. If you just want to play along, that's cool too.
Yeah.
We had lots of people telling us last year, no, you're wrong. What the fuck are you thinking?
That's actually the point.
How could you choose that, you idiot?
Yeah, lean into that, because
Sherry cracked the code and got the prizes last year.
I think it was luck. Like, when I went to do my bracket, if I tried to do it to win, and theoretically the three of us should be, you know, the best possible position, I was still like, man, I have no way to actually know how each one of these matchups will shake out, right?
I can guess on some, but not many.
Yeah, so we'll see. Somebody will win. Obviously, it won't be the three of us, but I think last year you actually had the highest point totals, Chris. And I wouldn't be surprised if that happens again, because you tend to be able to drive the bus because you're a bastard.
It's cheating.
It's cheating. It is cheating.
Yeah.
All right, man.
It's total cheating. All right, kid. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
March Madness.